Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Mandates, the show where my sister and I force each other to watch movies according to a monthly theme. I'm Andrew.
I'm Keleigh.
It's double feature month on Movie Mandates, which means we're only doing one video this month, but it's a plus-sized video covering two movies.
Yes.
That wasn't planned. I just did that somehow, and I saw someone yesterday saying like two. I'm like, what are you doing with your hands? That's 10. But anyway, I mandated this month's double
Two.
feature. Yeah, I mandated this month's double feature, and Keleigh will mandate another for next month. This time, I mandated we watch Cinderella II and Cinderella III. But before we yap about two totally necessary 50-year late direct-to-video sequels, it's only fair that since I mandated today's movies, Keleigh gets to challenge me in a segment we call Trivial Trivia.
Yay! So, yes. Um, this is either going to be a very quick trivial trivia or not. I mean, I guess, yeah, either it will or it won't.
Yes, it'll either exist or it won't.
Yes, the cat's either alive or dead.
A
Um,
or not A.
to be or not to be. So
I love binaries.
the thing about Cinderella, you see,
Yes.
is when people think of Disney princesses, right? I kind of, I mean, there is no, I haven't done a study on it, but Cinderella is,
Married into it. Well, it kind of depends on which background for Cinderella you're talking about. But yeah, go ahead.
but like most, like, top Disney princesses, Cinderella is like, or just princesses, Cinderella. Everyone wants to be Cinderella, Cinderella. She's kind of like top tier princess. However, Disney does not hold the monopoly on animated princesses, right?
Hmm.
Um, there are other animation studios, right? Not just Disney. There is Pixar and there's
Owned by Disney, but sure.
my Trivial Dream.
Go ahead, your rules.
There's DreamWorks.
Yeah. Walt Disney
There's
Animation and Pixar Animation Studios are two different studios. So,
yes. There's Ghibli, there's Arden,
mhm.
there's multiple animation studios. And while princesses aren't their main bag, baby, there are princesses within there. They're scant, but they be happening. Can you name me three animated princesses from other studios?
Okay. Um, well, thinking of Pixar, we've got Merda in Brave,
Yeah.
who's her parents are king and queen.
Yes, Merida is,
She doesn't even marry into it. She's born into it.
yeah, she is princess, which is,
Um,
you're absolutely right. Cinderella is not born a
she marries
princess.
into it.
She marries into it. Merida, full princess,
Yeah.
blood and all.
Snow White resurrected into it. So Prince
Hilarious.
Snow White, did he have a name either? Because the Cinderella Prince does not have a name. He's just Prince.
Which one? Okay, here's a
What
question for
was it
you.
like Little Mermaid the first time where they're like, all right, fine, Eric.
Eric, is Prince Charming Cinderella's prince or Snow White's prince?
I'm not sure. I think it's Cinderella's. Because at least I haven't.
Philip.
Wait, no, that's Sleeping
Philip
Beauty.
is Sleeping Beauty's. Damn it. Okay, so that's Sleeping Beauty's prince. So Snow White's prince is just a prince. Prince Charming is Cinderella's prince. So it's just
Yeah, I think
Prince
so. I think he's just the prince. I think he's the
Prince
next.
Predator.
I think he was just macking on a corpse and she woke up
That's
and it was like,
hence
oh, well, I'm just gonna have to play along with this. Yeah,
Prince Geen.
totally to break the spell.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Princess Merida. That is
We
one.
got
You
Merida.
are correct, sir.
Have you seen the Wreck-It Ralph sequel?
I have. That's the internet one, right?
I am,
Ralph
yeah,
breaks the
yeah.
internet. Yes.
It's fine. Um, it's like the first movie. It's fine. Um, but there's that scene with the Disney princesses in it, which is I'm amazed they didn't spin that off into anything else because that was just fun.
That was
And I
very
love the
fun.
fact that Meredith's sitting in the room just blabbering, and they're all just kind of nodding along.
Because they don't
And
understand her.
Snow White or someone is like, "Yeah, we don't understand a damn thing." She says, "She's from the other studio." It's
Because it is true. She has like Kelly MacDonald, like they actually give her a full-on Scottish accent. Like,
yeah, she definitely plays it up in the Wreck-It Ralph movie. Her accent
sure,
is not that impenetrable in the
sure.
Brave
You
film,
can
but yeah.
always understand what Kelly MacDonald is saying in everything she's in. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's definitely played up in that. But
All
yeah.
right, so Merida, Anastasia.
Anastasia is, yeah.
Um,
She's,
actually born to it, deposed, and then came back to it, I think.
I think so. What is that studio?
Who did Anastasia? Was it Don Bluth or someone? I'll have to
Don Bluth did the Dogs in the Heaven, right?
All Dogs Go to Heaven, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Ken. You know, Ken Page used to do the announcements at the Muni, and this is the first year after his passing, so he's not the one who does the Muni announcements this year.
Oh,
It's very sad.
yeah. Well,
Okay, Anastasia. Who does Anastasia?
let's see. If well, Fox was the it must have just
Does
been
that
Fox
still
Animation.
exist?
No, Fox Animation.
No, it does not exist. No?
No, no. Well, this was back in the late 90s.
Yeah,
Uh,
so it's been bought by
It was
Disney,
20th
huh?
Century Fox Animation Studios. So I guess it wasn't on Bluth. Da, 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 da.
So Fox Animation. Okay.
Yeah. Mm, mm.
And there looks like there was a sequel done by, of course, there was a sequel.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so that's two. Yep, yep. She be a princess.
And then the Swan Princess. Did
Yes,
you know
yes.
Jack Palance does a voice in that? If I'm remembering right, I'm gonna have to look it up anyway because I don't remember who did this.
I don't remember who did it is it either. Is it also
And I would
Fox?
assume it's not a euphemism and that there's actually a Swan Princess. I've never
No,
seen.
there definitely is. There definitely is.
Let's see, 94. Yeah, Jack Palance. I remembered that right. I don't think I've ever seen
Amazing.
this though. Let's see. Nest Family Entertainment and Rich Animation Studios.
Huh.
Yeah, no one I know. Just direct to video peoples. Although this might have been theatrical, I'm not sure. So there we go.
I am very surprised that Princess Mononoke did not come out of your mouth.
For a Ghibli one, sure. There you go,
That
Princess.
was the first, that was my, like, I went Merida and Mononoke. And then I was like, hmm. And then my third one was
Let's see. Does Arden
Fiona.
have a princess in it? Uh,
I couldn't think of an Arden one.
Arden.
Sean is
Here you go.
Ardman.
Yeah, M-A-N. I think it's
Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
A-A-R-D-M-A-N or something like that.
I
Ard.
have a friend named Arden, and so I just keep
Oh.
saying
Yeah,
Ardman.
the ones who do the
Sean the
Waltz
sheep.
and
Yeah.
Grumman or something. Yeah, that one.
It's Sean the sheep. It's Sean the
Yeah,
sheep.
I don't think anyone's a princess.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But
Who are you
also,
saying?
uh, Princess Mononoke and Fiona from Shrek. She's a princess.
Oh yeah. That's DreamWorks.
Yeah, she was the other
Uh,
one that came to my mind.
is anyone royalty in the Train the Dragon films? I don't think so. I think they're just Vikings.
They're
I don't
all,
think
I
anyone's
think,
I think there's a leader. I don't think there's a king or anything. Well, I think they have I think the dragons actually have a king and queen dragon or something. So maybe they have a princess there somewhere.
so I asked Jeremy the same question, and he actually came up with two other ones. Poppy from Trolls is a princess. Didn't know that.
Oh, which studio? That's DreamWorks too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And Ants, the movie Ants,
That's
The
also DreamWorks. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then he has a leg up because he went through the phase of the kids watching over and over and over those certain movies. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you hit some movies that I definitely didn't hit. So, but yeah, and I was like, okay, good. This is a good question. So there are
Of
definitely
course, for if
princesses
you're
out
like
there.
6 years old or younger, it's basically any girl in a dress in an animated film is a princess.
Fair.
Coraline is a princess.
No.
Her raincoat is a dress.
Yeah. Sally's not a princess either. Although she becomes the queen. She skipped
I
right
guess I guess
past.
she's the pumpkin queen now.
Yeah, there's a book, right?
Sally, the pumpkin queen.
Do I not have it out here? Is it downstairs? I guess it is downstairs. But yeah, I have a book called The Pumpkin Queen, and it's just a fan fiction type of thing. About after they get married and what happens, and then she gets sucked into some other, there's like another hidden door, so there's more, there's like the Sandman world, and then he puts everyone to sleep, and then she has to wake everybody up, and she's actually from that world because that's like she's a rag doll, and so she finds that world, and so she doesn't get put to sleep from the Sandman, so that's why she's able to go combat it, but she finds her mom and dad, so she is actually a princess because they're royalty, and it's a whole big thing. Yeah, it was cute. It was fine. I liked it. I read it.
Secret princess. Now, what's the move into Cinderella?
Yes,
What
Cinderella.
what is generally the backstory of Cinderella? Was she like the daughter of a noble who married Tremaine and then he
Yes,
died?
died. Yes.
And Tremaine,
So
Tremaine didn't like
Tremaine,
kill him or
Lady,
anything, did she?
no, no. So Lady Tremaine has Lady Tremaine. So he was married to Cindy's mom. Cindy's mom died
He
when she was really
remarried
young. He remarried Lady Tremaine, who had the two girls, and then he
from another
died.
marriage or something.
Yeah,
He already had them, right?
yeah. And then we don't know what happened to her husband. Obviously, he probably died too. Twas the 1800s of it all, I'm guessing, or actually, probably twas the much,
Both of
much
them probably
earlier.
had more than just those three girls. There were
Yeah,
probably other kids that died at
probably
some.
twas like the 1400s. Like I'm guessing there was some plague going on. Like God only knows what years it was.
How many kids do you
But
have? Like at the same time,
alive or
or
like
over the
now?
course of our?
Um, so yeah, and then he died,
Not all
and
of them made it. Yeah, disease. Right, disease.
and then and then she was like, well, into the and since she wasn't making any money, she needed, extra help around the house.
Yeah. So
Her
Cinderella,
reasons for making
Cinderella's
Cinderella a
father
maid.
was like nobility or something, not
He
like
at least had
not
money.
royalty or anything. Yeah,
He
yeah.
no,
That's why Tremaine married
yeah,
him.
yes, yes. She needed, yeah, since
He was
her,
at least higher station than she was.
hmm hmm
Okay.
yes, yep, yep, yep.
So
So
going into Cinderella, you hadn't seen these, right?
I had not seen
Did you
these.
know they existed?
I had not known they existed.
Okay, I had heard of these, and I had heard what the only thing I had heard was that one of them was surprisingly decent, and it was because they made Anastasia an actual sympathetic character, which turned out to be kind of both of the movies.
Okay, yes,
Although
and
the first movie, Cinderella II, is an anthology.
yes,
It's three stories with a wraparound segment,
yes,
while the third movie is just a full movie,
yes. And
barely reaching whatever the hell feature length is. Because both of these projects, if you knock off the credits, are like maybe 65 minutes.
right. And to be clear, to answer the question that maybe should be asked at the end, but I'm going to put it out here right here in the beginning. These two movies do not make a good double feature because they cannot exist in the same world, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
Because if
I
one is
feel
true, The other cannot be true.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
And that is really upsetting. It was really upsetting to me because
Unless like the third
mm-mm,
movie actually comes first,
but
but
not
then the actions of the second movie don't work.
don't
So
make
yeah,
sense. Yeah,
it
they
doesn't
can't.
really work. I think my guess is what happened is they gave somebody $10 and said, "Make us some Cinderella content." And
Yeah,
they did. They did one pass on a script and they spent their $10. They brought their kids into work to draw the movie. And the kids are pretty good actually for but
better than I could do.
they drew the movie and do we have budget for original songs? And did you
Not in the
notice
second
that
movie.
all three the original song in each segment of the anthology is sung by the same woman?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is? Because I'd never heard of her before.
No, what's her name?
I'd have to look it up again because I
Oh,
don't know her name, but
no.
it was the same woman on Brooke Allison. And
Nope, haven't.
I didn't look her up. I don't know who that is. And all due respect to Brooke, I'm sure she's a very lovely person, but I'm guessing she's someone's niece.
Right. Well, the thing that the second movie does that that is the very staple of we don't have money for this project is that the song is not sung by the characters.
No, all three of them are sung by Brooke Allison, did I say?
Yeah, and it's just
And
being
she's
done.
not voicing any other character
No, and it's
in the
just
dub.
done. It's
Yeah.
it's done about what's happening, but it's done
Yeah,
like
it's these
overaction.
songs are very describing literally what's on the screen. It is all text.
And that is so much like sequel type movies because it's like animating dance sequences, animating mouths moving to
All
singing and like trying to match that. It just takes so much money and so much time that I was like, "Oh, yes,
I
this
didn't pull
is."
up I did not pull up the original film from 1950,
I
but
was so
I would
close to.
swear
I was
that a
so
bunch of these
close.
shots are from the original film, or at least
Yes,
traced in
yes,
part.
yes,
Because there's a
yes.
bunch of shots
Especially in
and
the third
gags.
film.
Yeah, there's a
Especially
bunch
in
of
the third film.
oh, but in the second film,
Oh,
like
with the scissors and
with
the
the scissors
chopping
and
of the
only
tail. Oh,
nearly
yes.
chopping the tail, the going through.
100%.
I'm like, I don't care enough to actually pull up the original, but I'm willing to bet that they're reusing animation here.
I I
And like
almost did
they had
because
a
of
group
that.
of
Yeah.
mice, and they had Jacques, Gus, the lady mouse whose name I forget, the one other mouse, and then about five recolors of that one other mouse. I'm like, oh my God, he's multiplying. There's a clone of him all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, so very low budget. Make us some Cinderella stuff. My niece wants to be a singer, so have her do a new song for
Yeah.
each thing. Um, and they put it out there, and everyone really responded to Anastasia and her crush on the neighborhood
Baker.
baker.
Yeah.
And so a couple of years later, when they did the third one and threw some more actual money at it, they're like, you know what? People really responded to the Anastasia stuff. Let's build on that. And that's kind of a cornerstone of the third movie.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, having seen these two films now, that the real villain all along was the fairy godmother
That bitch.
because she's clearly playing favorites. Like, first of all, I don't know, maybe she has limited resources or something. You know, she's got a really big client list. Maybe she's a caseworker and those are assigned to her. It's not like I don't know. Like in Slipper and the Rose, it kind of the fairy godmother in that one feels like she has a bunch of other shit that she's got going on. Like
Oh
she's
yeah.
got finite time and resources. She has to spread the love around. She's like, yeah, here's some stuff for you. I've got other stuff brewing, so you
Yeah,
just
she has a schedule, darling.
that's right.
Yeah.
But this fairy godmother just seems like just kind of an all-powerful witch who just kind of uses her
A
powers on a
bumbling,
whim.
all-powerful witch.
Yeah, yeah. So she like allowed not just allowed Cinderella to suffer the torment of her family for her entire childhood into her mid 20s or however old she's supposed to be.
Right,
Um, but now we have the perspective that Anastasia and Drusilla are victims of horrible child abuse. And we're their fairy godmothers.
right,
Yeah, those kids, Drusilla and Anastasia, are both shitty people, but they're shitty people because they're victims of abuse and they don't know how to do anything else.
right.
You know,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
where were you, fairy godmother?
Yeah, but it's all but it I will say like not that I don't agree or disagree with you because like I get
It's
what
a
you're saying.
fairy. I'm reading too
I
much
get what
into
you're
it.
saying.
It's a fairy tale.
Right,
That
it's a
doesn't
fairy
matter,
tale.
but it's a fun thing to bring up.
But it is kind of an interesting sort of like that is kind of one of those things about Cinderella is like, did you have to let her hit rock bottom? Like, were you just like sitting
Builds
back there,
character.
like you're sipping your tea and you're like, not yet. Nope, nope, not. She could still fall a little bit more. Like she's not down. Like you think this is down? Hold my beer. Just watch. Like she's got further to fall. And like
That's right. She's here. I'm
I
going to
want
put her
her
here.
here. Yeah.
But you see, this distance doesn't get me as much praise as this distance. I bring
Exactly.
someone from here to here. Oh, they will suck my toes
Right.
forever.
Exactly. And that's so that there's always been that kind of like an interesting sort of like, come on now. But I also,
I'm sure as Fairy Godmother, you're enjoying story time with the mice, but you think there are other impoverished or abused kids in the kingdom that might need a fairy godmother at this point?
well, I also like how, so Cinderella 2, uh, which does it have a dreams come true? Okay, that's
The
what it's called.
subtitle, yeah, dreams
Yeah.
come true, and
And a
then
twist in
a
time
twist
is
in time.
Cinderella 3.
Here's a funny little anecdote about three. I was at the point where Prince Charming is chasing after the boat. This is towards the end of the movie, right? And I was thinking, like, where's the twist in time? Because we're just disguising our we just did the shoe. I had completely forgotten that the twist in time was just like the first thing that happens in the movie. Because I was like, are we going to have any time? I thought, yeah, I was like, maybe it should have been called a twist in fate because they just kind of changed their fate. But it's like, no, the first thing that happens is a time travel gag. But we'll get there. We're on the sequel now, so.
Yeah, so in
Oh, I
Cinderella 2,
really also enjoy the vocal continuity between the two projects, even though they're like 6 or 7 years apart.
yeah.
I didn't do a one-on-one compare, but eyeballing it, same cast for all the characters.
Yeah, they do pretty well. And like and they and
Even
obviously
Prudence, who is a new character introduced in one of the segments in the first one. I was just really happy to see her again.
I
Same
love
actor.
Prudence.
So
And I love the name
yeah,
Prudence.
that was a good choice. I like that.
I love that name.
There are we are going to be
Picky.
pretty down our nose critical as particularly with Cinderella 2, but um both of these movies, even the second one, which I think is definitely the weaker of the two, there are definitely a lot of small moments that are like that was a really good idea, or that individual thing that was pulled off really well.
Yeah.
There's an equal number, or well, more, where you look at it and you're like, you know what, that's the germ of a good idea. And I think another pass or two with the script, if they had time or money to actually do this, they could have really built on that. Let me
Yeah.
give a really quick example of that.
Yeah.
One of the segments has Jacques, the mouse. The fairy godmother turns him into a human to teach him a really dumb lesson. So there's a running gag where in the original Cinderella, the cat Lucifer chases the mice. Well, these stories mostly take place in the palace, and Lady Tremaine and her brood don't live there, so they just made another cat. You know,
Right.
Pom Pom, I think its name
Pom
is.
pom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pom Pom, who's a uh, frilly white pretty cat, right? Instead of the more mangy Lucifer.
Yeah.
And so Pom Pom sees Jacques mouse and chases him around. And then Jacques like, oh, it sucks being a mouse. I get chased by the cat. I can't really help Cinderella because I'm all small and everything. And the fairy godmother, because she honestly has nothing better to do, nothing worth her attention is happening anywhere else in the kingdom. There's no poverty, there's no
No.
starvation, there's no sickness, there's no abuse. Everyone is happy. Fairy
Absolutely.
godmother fixed Cinderella and she's like, my work here is done. The kingdom is saved. So she's like, what can I do for this mouse? And so she turns the mouse into a human, and Pom Pom sees this. And there's an animation where you can see her inner thoughts. And she's like, wait a minute, small mouse, now big human. Well, that's like 37 mice. I'm gonna eat that, man.
I
And
know.
it's a running gag for the rest of the thing. And I'm like, that's hilarious to me. It's so stupid, but
Yeah.
I genuinely thought it was hilarious.
The
And
fact that,
it pays off in a really wonderful gag where this cat regards this man as a mouse when she's chasing him down, but she can't quite reach him. So she crawls up onto a like a breakfast nook where there's a bunch of food laying out, and she grabs a hunk of cheese and she chucks it out onto the floor. And Jock's like, dude, cheese? She
it's
lures him with cheese.
it's
And
pretty
it's
good.
staged really poorly because they're just kind of like standing in the same hallway. But the idea is
Yeah.
hilarious where she's baiting a dude because he's
With
really a mouse
cheese.
with cheese because she's like, that was originally a mouse. So this dude is essentially like 37 mice. I will be eaten pretty. That's an amazing idea. I wish they had actually the time and the budget to really develop that because to me, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yes. There were something like there were some things in the Anastasia one on the third one that I want to say too
Mhm.
that we'll get to, but like when Anastasia's at the well and she's crying and she's like, "It's always been so easy for you," and Cinderella just kind of laughs and goes, "That's not how I remember it," and I was like, "That's fair. That's funny."
The animation, and I absolutely love how Anastasia does oh,
Yes,
the
yes,
princess cry,
yes.
the, like she's on a fainting couch or something like that. And
Against a
what's
concrete
funny, and
well.
I don't know that it was intended, but later in that same segment, she finds a completely different fountain to faint on. And I'm like, are there fainting fountains all over the damn city or
Everywhere.
something?
Women are very delicate, you see.
Um, I don't think that was intended, but I'm like, I would have leaned into that because it's funny. Anyway, that first time, that is a great gag where Cinderella's like, yeah, that's not how I remember it. She sits down on the edge of the fountain, but the placement of her cell over the background painting where the fountain is lined up that looks like she's putting her ass right in the water. She's just gonna fall backwards, but I'm like, she has amazing core strength because her ass is hovering over the water. She's not actually sitting there. Anyway, yes.
So, one of the reasons I nearly went back to watch, and I didn't, I want to be clear, I did not watch the original Cinderella.
Yeah,
I,
neither.
I,
I'd considered it too, but
I very nearly did for several reasons. Number one, because of what you said about even
oh,
in
recycled
the
animation.
recycle animation,
Yeah.
and in number three,
Lucifer doing this all excited. I'm like, that's from the original too.
there
Well, I
definitely
think
was
that was in the
because
third one. Yeah.
when they went back in time and they're like, "Oh, this is you pulling up in the th like," they definitely recycled some
I'm
animation.
that makes
And if
sense
they
though.
didn't, yes, and if they didn't though, I was like, I think they did what you did, like what you said is they overdrew, they like kind of because it was still in. the now times the
Yeah,
2007
I think they took like
style.
the cells that had just the
Yes.
characters on them and traced
Yes.
that over a new
Yes.
background or something. Yeah.
Right. So it was very, so there was that. But the reason why, so the first, I want to say 10 minutes, but it probably wasn't 10 minutes, but
Because in the
maybe
original film, they're using scissors and threads and stuff to make Cinderella her dress. In this one, they're using scissors and thread and stuff to make a
to make a
storybook.
book. And this
So
tail and the thing, it's exactly the same,
it's
note for
exactly
note,
the same.
note for note.
Yeah.
Um, so the first 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there, was really hard for me. And that was,
Particularly because they reprised Bippity Boppity Boo. And I'm like, oh no.
yeah,
Oh God, they're just.
yeah,
And then they started
yes.
doing some new lyrics. I'm like, okay, but that's really lazy. And then I found out that Brooke Allison was going to have a featured song in each of these. I'm like, okay. I actually prefer that to just bippity bop. And apparently every goddamn spell is bippity boppity boo. It's all in
Yeah,
the
apparently that's it.
they could not be bothered to. Also, Cinderella has like mostly and the prince, they have like two outfits. They have their regular clothes and they have the ball gown. It almost felt like the producers were afraid that if they made new costumes for these characters
We wouldn't
that we
recognize
wouldn't
them.
recognize them.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
More
like,
on more on that
Cinderella and the
later.
prince are pretty bland and unremarkable. I can they were trying to give them a bit more character, particularly in the third
In the
movie.
third one, yeah.
But I mean, Anastasia's got a very memorable face. So does Lady. All of these secondary characters.
Yeah. Um,
That's a problem with particularly female hero princess character designs from the 50s and earlier. It's like they must be adorable and soft and pretty, but not
yes.
threatening and blah, which
Yes.
makes them pretty, but just bland and
Yes.
unmemorable. Like Snow White is just a boring ass character design. Her outfit's kind of interesting,
Yes.
but her actual design, boring as shit.
Because it's nearly because you can't have any angles or any, it's just
Same thing with
it's
Cinderella. I
yeah.
think I'd have to start looking at the chronology when the movies came out, but I think they really started getting away with that with Aurora Rose and Sleeping Beauty. I think
Yeah.
that's where they really started getting away from. We need to do more with our princess and prince than just, well, she's the princess and he's the prince. What more do you need in a character, right?
Right.
So,
Um, so the reason why the first couple minutes were hard for me is because it was so upbeat and peppy in the dialogue, and it was almost like not the live action, but like almost like a Barbie movie or something like.
it
And
felt like one of those shows that's aimed at very small children,
yeah,
almost like Blue's Clues let me Blues Clues' target audience, but talking down to that target audience, which Blues Clues doesn't do. You
correct,
know, it
correct.
felt like a movie that was like, here you go, parents. We know your kids suck. Put this on for the next 65 minutes. We'll keep them distracted. You know,
Right. And it
hey,
really,
everybody, we're having a gee golly well gracious good time. It does feel like that. I'm like, oh God,
it did. And I was like, I, it nearly hurt me a little bit
what
because I was like,
evil have I
was
wrought?
this, I was like, I don't remember it being this campy. Was Cinderella this campy? Was it really this like over the top and like jovial? Like I remember it being a little bit more realist, not realist, but but like I just remember it being a little bit more of like, kind of moody and like, oh my, like, the stepmother was kind of scary in a way. Like later Tremaine was kind of scary. And yeah, the stepsisters were a bit bumbly, but like they were, mean to her. And like, I also don't remember the mice repeating everything. I remember Gus repeating things, but I don't remember Jacques repeating things like, we mice are going to make clothes for Cinderella. Really. And I'm just like, why are you repeating like
Please stop.
everything. Like you need to stop because I'm getting annoyed. Like, but it was I was just like, oh no, oh no. Oh dear. And I don't know if it got better because it was like that whole beginning like I am so happy we're going to the palace and I've married the love of my life and there's going to be a feast and it was just such a it was weird. And I was like, no, bad. And I don't know if I got used to it or if they calmed it down a bit and they just needed to like kind of set up this, or it could have been a little of column A, a little of column B, because
Yeah.
it did fade for me.
Hmm.
It may have just been like, okay, this, maybe it was just me like, okay, this is what it is. And I'm just gonna get on board because I have another hour here. And it's going to be much more painful if I don't just allow this to be what it is. So yeah, it was definitely a weird start. And it was a hard start because there was a moment that I was like, is this about to ruin my childhood?
Yeah, the wraparound is kind of painful.
Well, yeah,
First
it
first
and
half of the
lazy.
first couple of minutes of the first segment is kind of the same tone, but I feel like it settles a little bit.
It does. I think it does. And I think that in it that second movie, just the whole idea of like Gus and Jacques go to hear the story, and then the fairy godmother's like, "Oh, I just finished the book, and that's the only book in existence. I have no other book to read
The
to
only
you.
story, it's like you've only ever helped this one little girl, haven't you?
So, like, there's nothing else I can do. So, if you guys ever in life want another story, you're gonna have to make one up." And then they make up a story, three of them, and write it in a book. And then at the end, when it wraps around, they give it to Cinderella, and she's like, "Oh, I love it so much. Do you want me to read it to you?" And I was like, "Aha, I'm on to you. You want the kids to push play again, don't you?" She's like, "Once upon a time," and I'm like, yeah,
Rewind that VHS and play it
you
again.
know what you know what you did." But it's such a lazy thing to do.
As wraparounds go, it's yeah.
But yeah, it was. But
Like ideally you kind of want there to be some type of thematic through line, but
and I feel
yeah.
as if
How do we connect
I
these stories? They're just stories that the mice are telling each other. For, shit that
ding.
happened in the last year to them?
Yeah. And
Okay.
the first story is like Cinderella coming to the palace and needing to do a feast. And it is a very Cinderella thing. And like the feast is this is the way it's always been. And she's like, "Well, I'm Cinderella and it's the prince loves
We're
me
gonna
for
do
me,
it my way.
so I will now be doing things my way." But I think it's funny because and it is in the third segment, the Anastasia segment,
Yeah.
that and Anastasia says it. She's like, "You look like a handmaid or whatever," because she's wearing her regular clothes. And I'm thinking,
Her other costume. Yeah.
yeah, woman,
At least they actually
yar.
gave her a wedding dress for the third movie instead of just reusing the ball gown dress.
Yes,
So that
yes.
was nice.
There's a drain fly in here and it is annoying me. Um, but that's the thing that gets me is like, okay. I get that you want to keep Cinderella in the color scheme for her, like the blue and the white that we're used to,
Yeah.
but you can keep her in the color scheme and like maybe even like the silhouette-ish without making her in her peasant, not
Yeah.
peasant, but like without like that was what she used to scrub the floor in. When she moves to the palace, she would no longer own that. Not only because like not and like yeah, Cinderella is not a person who would be like, "Well, now I'm only gonna own,
Yeah,
I guess
she
there's
she'd have an out on the town outfit, and you can
yeah,
you can, you know, exercise your expertise in color theory to make sure that we still recognize the character. Like, for
Yeah.
example, if you've seen Sinners, which has
Not yet.
Michael
Very
B.
soon. Very
Jordan.
soon.
I won't
Yes, I
spoil
can't
anything,
wait.
but Michael B. Jordan plays brothers in the
Yes,
he
he
plays
plays two
both
people.
roles.
Hmm.
And you might think, and they have the same facial hair, so you're thinking, all right, how am I going to tell these two characters apart? Well, red and blue, pretty much. There's color coding in the way they dress, and also sometimes the environment, and the lighting, and the stuff like that that helps you tell the characters apart. And you can do that kind of a thing, and you see that a lot in like anytime anyone draws fan art of the Powerpuff Girls in like other outfits, or like here's what the Powerpuff Girls would look like in college. They're no longer drawn with they're just big-headed, long-limbed people just in different outfits. They'll Blossom will still be in pink, Bubbles will still be in blue, Buttercup will still be in green, and we're still using those same colors. You'll see when a lot of times in superhero comic books, you'll see the characters a lot of times in their civilian outfits. The color scheme will be the same color scheme that their
Yeah.
superhero outfit uses.
Yeah.
So,
It can
yeah,
even have like a nod to it, like a big, like
yeah,
leather belt or like an OB belt or something for the Powerpuff Girls. Like those are so in. Give her like
yeah.
a cinched, like,
Yeah, the point was is it what it felt like was a combination between we're afraid that if we draw a new outfit for Cinderella, you won't recognize her because you're 2 years old and you're stupid, or we are not taking the time or commissioning anyone to design some new outfits for Cinderella. We don't have the
yeah,
time or budget for that.
I'm sure both are equally as true. But because we're being us, it annoyed me because I'm
It
like,
bothered me too.
it bothered me because I'm like, no, no,
She
just no,
wouldn't
you're
still
not going to
have
put your
that.
rags on. Especially, like, no, you're not going to put your rags on. Like, and I know that we're skipping, or at least I'm about to skip to the very end of the third movie all of a sudden. But like, at the end of the third movie, woman, like, all of a sudden, she is the most capable woman in the entire world. And she gets put in the middle of a pumpkin. She breaks out of the pumpkin, jumps onto a horse,
From the pumpkin, yeah.
stops it from the pumpkin, stops it
Stops it
from
from
going
going off
over a
a cliff,
cliff, rides the horse all the way back, gets
which is about
into the
25
miles.
miles or
Yeah,
something. So
like
wait.
runs into the palace, does all of this, and she's like, "This is my man." And Anastasia, like, "Yeah, that's your man. We'll get to it." And then Bibbidi Bobbidi Boonis is like, "Do you want me to put you in a wedding dress so you can marry your man? Here's your wedding dress because you look like hell." Which to me, at that point, her looking like hell makes sense. Puts her in the wedding dress. All I could think about, because this is who I am as a female and as a person, is did a magical bath come with that putting into the wedding dress? Because those rags, I'm like, why are they even going through the washing? Well, they don't have washing machines, but like, why are those rags even like going into like, a washboard? She's like, can you imagine? Like, why are you like, I'm always very concerned about hygiene. It's a big deal for me. And so hygiene in like, and I love zombie apocalypse movies. I know I'm going off the rails here, but like I love everything about, like, we're watching Last of Us because we're a little bit behind. We're a lot of bit behind, sorry about that. But like we're in Walking Dead, Last
We're
of
in
Us, all
season
that stuff.
two, right?
And like we are, and I'm always just like, when people find romance, I'm always just like, I love that you found each other. How are you making like how, but how though?
But you have no toothpaste or dental floss in the
Like,
zombie apocalypse,
yeah.
so
Like,
maybe gesture kisses at each other. That's a
yeah,
thought
like
that counts.
there would be a lot of like
Fist bumps.
there'd be a lot
Love
of attaboys.
loving fist bumps. That's right.
There'd be a lot of
You see two
attaboys.
people fist bumps and others are like, oh,
Oh
oh
my God.
my, in public.
Salacious. But yeah, yeah, I just so she goes out in her I used to clean basements in this dress attire. Um and invites the kingdom into her, like invites the town into the kingdom. And then, of course, I love it that Prudence, best name, Prudence, she is like, she's not lady in waiting, like, because the lady in
Is it
waiting,
just me or did her ladies in waitings look like Merryweather and
yes,
the
yes,
fairies from
yes,
Sleeping
yes. And I
Beauty?
was like,
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
this is an homage to those character designs, right?
I
I'm not
thought
the
so.
only one because they're it's only two of them, but they're
Yes,
color coded
it's
the same
yes.
too.
Thank you, because they came in and I was like, we know them. We know them. Wait, wait, wait. We know who they are. Yes, yes. Her ladies in waiting came in, but Prudence is I forget. I don't know
She's
what
like an
that
event organizer or something.
person's title is called. It's not coming to me, but she's supposed to like be teaching the princess what to do. And like throughout the whole thing, she's like, "That's not how it's done, darling." Holland Taylor, of course. That's
Hmm.
not how it's done, darling. And
In the she has a brief can she's in the third one briefly, and it's Holland again,
briefly.
so
And then
which I was
uh
very happy to see. So.
yes, I love Holland Taylor. And then at the very end, of course, when the king comes in and is like, "Oh, this is fabulous." Prudence is like, takes the stick out of her butt and is like, "This is fabulous." And I'm like, "Oh, how quickly you're like, I will love you forever, Cinderella." But can I just say that steamed prunes for dessert, disgusting. But also, um, pudding is not revolutionary. Maybe it was in the, I don't know, 1419, but like
I
pudding,
mean, it was something that the mice could knock shit over and
sure,
accidentally
sure.
make.
But
Oh no, I knocked over some sugar and chocolate and made pudding.
I love how just she's like, pudding. What a brilliant idea this was. And I'm like,
She gets put in charge of breakfast. She's like, I've got it.
cereal.
Toast.
I know, toast. I can warm bread. Ah, like I'm just like, what is happening? I'm like, anyways.
There were in that episode, one thing I was kind of expecting in the ending is Cinderella and Prudence would, yeah, Prudence would be like, you know what? Just because it's always been done this way doesn't mean
Right.
that's the way it has to be done. You've got some good ideas. I thought Cindy would be like, yeah, and you know what? You like him, so here's a bowl of steamed prunes. Oh,
I
thank you.
thought
That
there
sounds
would
so.
be a little bit more of that
Yeah.
too,
No,
actually. No.
you will eat chocolate pudding, Prudence. I don't care if you like it or not. You
Yeah,
may
because
like, no one cares what you want, Prudence.
that's the thing. There wasn't any give and take. It was all
Right.
Cinderella.
That said, I really did like a couple moments where, because Cinderella is diving head first, trying her best to learn how it's done. And they're quizzing her, and they're like, "All right, does the Duke sit next to the Bishop, or And she's, or here." It's like, do you should the napkins be eggshell or
Or taupe.
cream?
Yeah.
Uh, And she's like, they're the same thing. And then they have her, they're trying to teach her to dance. They're balancing books on her head. They're quizzing her at stuff, and she starts getting flustered. And she's like, should the Duke sip? And she's like, who? And the cream and the taupe and this one. No, she gets really flustered. I just like the performance
Yeah.
of whoever did Cinderella. I think it was Jennifer Hale. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had two really well. Of course, you have Frank Welker doing all of the animals, like the cat and the horse and stuff.
Yep.
Rob Paulson, who mostly probably like Yakko or something from Animaniacs. He did Jacques. Corey Burton, another guy, he does Gus. He's a big voice actor. Tress MacNeille did
Yes.
Anastasia. She's probably most known for like speaking of Animaniacs, Dot Warner from that, and a shit ton of other things. Jennifer Hale, of course, is lots of cartoons, lots of video games. She took over the role of Bayonetta. So actually, pretty. This was 20 years ago, but heck of a cast here, and
Yeah,
so not surprising that the performances were actually pretty decent with
right.
with the writing that they had. So there's a sequence later in this episode where she gets flustered and she like flings herself on her bed, and the mice are there trying to comfort her, and the lady mouse, Judy or whatever her name is, she like, offers her handkerchief and she hands it up to Cinderella, who takes it, but it's, a mouse handkerchief, so it's the size of her thumb. So she has it laid on the tip of her finger and just, I'm like, that's
Yeah,
pretty good. I like that.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I thought they could have done more with the open the gate guard guy, because she's like, open the gate. And he's like, and goes in, and she's like, close the gate. Okay, open the gate. And so, just a something. They
yeah,
could have done
anything.
something
There
there and they
wasn't,
just
yeah.
didn't do anything. That's what I mean. There was a lot of moments in this where I'm like, just more passes through the script, just more time developing this would have allowed people to catch. It's like, we've got a moment here that we can plus this. We can
Especially
boost
because
this.
it's so short.
Yeah.
Like there was room to luxuriate. There was not money, I'm sure, to
Yes.
luxuriate. Um, and then of course that second one was for, you know, Jacques becoming human.
Hmm.
I will say though, I it was smart. Like I didn't see it coming, I will say, that to prove, I mean, I did the moment you saw the elephant. You're like,
Yeah, I
got
know where
it.
this is going.
But until then, like the whole idea is, Jacques like, there's nothing I can do as a mouse to help. Mice can't actually help. There's nothing that I can do as a mouse that a human isn't going to be better at which a human won't be better. So make me a human so that there's actually things that I can do for Cinderella. Um, there you go.
Wow, Cinderella, your dress is fantastic. The stitching is immaculate, but why is it covered in bird and mouse shit?
Yeah, basically. Um, so, and so like,
The joke
knowing what
being
we
that the
know.
birds and the mice made her dress.
Oh, I know. Oh, and can we like before I continue, I love the fact that wherever she goes, those two bluebirds are just with her. I'm like, she would totally smell all the time. Like she always has two mice in her pocket and two birds, which I appreciate wholeheartedly in the third movie when the prince is like, first it's mice, now it's bird, or this
Birds
the
and
other way.
yeah,
He's
the,
like,
the the
first it's
the
birds,
woodland
now it's
creatures are
mice.
trying to get the prince's attention to get him to go save Cinderella, and he's like, "Okay, the birds are being weird, and now the mice are talking to me. I am freaking out."
And then the father later, he's like, I do trust you, son. It's the talking mice I don't trust. And I'm
Dad, you've
like,
got to trust me. I do trust you. It's the talking mice that's giving me pause.
yes, yes, that's how I say. And I'm
I
just
like that.
like,
That's pretty good.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Um, but yeah, but no, but I did when going in that there's obviously something. So going back to the second one now, we
Mhm.
go back. Um, there's obviously something that she's going to be like, there's something that mice are going to be better at. And I'm just like, it's going to have to prove something. And then
Be a
I will
mouse. You
say,
never know when there will be an elephant around.
right.
I mean,
Well, and
elephants are all over the place. I can't tell you how many elephants I've read.
I didn't
They're
even,
in the room all the time. We just don't
and
talk
that's,
about them. Because we have no mice. What are we gonna do? Just ignore them. If we had mice, we wouldn't have to do that.
exactly. They just wouldn't be
The
there.
elephant in the room has lore now.
Amazing. That was good. That was good. Goodbye,
All
everybody.
right, it's not getting better than that. Goodbye.
Go
Double
watch the.
feature month continues next time.
There you go. This is all true. But yeah, like so when I saw the elephant, I was like, you know what? That works for me.
Stupid, but it works. Whatever.
It's I mean it works because you know what? Yeah, a royal extravaganza thing would have a flippin' elephant that takes rides and yeah. Okay. There's going to never, other than the one in the room, there's never going to be another situation that this is ever going to work. So you know what? I applaud you for making it actually kind of fit in that there's a reason for there to be an elephant.
Yeah, they're at a carnival and there's a ride the elephant around in a circle kind of a ride there. There's also a dunk tank and they did not animate the guy sitting there to be dunked. And I had to rewind it a couple times. I'm like,
I
what are they trying to dunk a cardboard cutout or did they just not have the budget or time to animate this guy?
I thought that that was a water trough. I didn't realize that
That's
was
it was supposed to be a dunk tank.
a That's
But
funny.
nothing's animated, so it was kind of
You're
hard
right.
you weren't sure what you were looking at.
That's
And
that's
then there's the
funny.
whole sub story about Lady Mouse, whose name I don't remember, knitting, or well, not knitting, but sewing Jacques a coat.
Hmm.
And then he becomes a man, and then he becomes a mouse, and then he has the coat throughout the whole thing. She does give it to him, and he keeps it in
In
his
his pocket or
coat,
something.
in his coat. And then when he turns back into a mouse, he gets the coat, and she kisses him. And I was surprised because she goes in full pucker.
She plants one on him,
She right
man.
on the list. I was expecting, this is a direct-to-video cartoon for very small children. I was expecting, a chaste smooch on the cheek or something.
And then he
Oh
gets all
no.
red and everything, but
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
that was
No,
a
no, no.
full-on
That
plant.
that's full on plant. She's like, I sewed you a jacket, you son of a gun. Now open wide and say ah.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
like, okay.
Yup. Yup. Yeah. Um, funny looking dude the mouse makes, but
Hmm.
and then I thought that the baker, so the third one, I thought that the baker was a cutie pie, a
Hmm.
cutie patootie pie.
I
Um,
think they could have I think the sequence works,
I
but
do.
I think Anis my biggest problem, which is kind of a big problem with Cinderella and all of its sequels, the Disney ones, is I don't believe in love at first sight.
Right.
So I have a hard time. So my criticism is like, would be nice if they had a little bit of an interaction, talk to each other a little bit before they got pulled apart by Lady Tremaine or whatever, rather than just being instantly physically attracted to each other. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a me thing, I guess.
No,
It's
that's
a
a
fairy tale, it's a fantasy, I guess it's fine. But also, Anastasia got kicked by a horse and survived. Just walk that shit off. She is invincible. She screw it, man. Put on a superhero costume and start fighting crime in the kingdom because apparently you cannot be killed.
she just put rub some dirt on it. She just
She just tanks a horse. In John Wick, that killed a guy. John Wick killed a guy with a horse. I mean, she got
Oh
knocked
my
over, but
God.
she did walk that off, seeing none
No,
the worse for
she
wear.
full
I'm like,
on.
whoa,
Yeah, that's true.
that is a
That is
sturdy
true.
woman right there.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah, no, that is true.
I
That is
also
very
really
true.
like one thing that I like about that sequence and the third movie is they didn't change Anastasia's facial design.
No.
They didn't change her to make her cuter or prettier.
Yeah.
She's still the same. It's a more modern drawing, of course. There's 50 years between the two, but she's still
Yeah.
pretty much on model. She looks exactly like she did, the
Yeah.
ugly stepsister.
Yeah, and she's clumsy and
Yeah, she's
yeah.
clumsy and not great at dancing, and she's also an abrasive asshole. Like
Yes.
Cinderella, this is a year later after Cinderella has left the Tremaine household and now lives in the castle, and she runs into Anastasia. She's like, "Oh, hey," and she's like, "What do you want?" And you can kind of tell that's just how she's been conditioned her whole life to act.
Yes.
Like she's acting like an asshole, and she is, but she's acting like an asshole because that's the way she was raised. It's not how
Yes.
she is, but it's the only thing she knows. It's the only way she knows how to react. And it's
Yeah.
a reflex for her. She
Yeah.
immediately starts out with that and then dials it back from there when she realized one, her mom's not around, and two, that that's not what she wants to do, and three, there's no reason for that anyway.
Yeah.
So she is prickly, she is abrasive, she is a bit of an asshole, but there's a reason behind that. And I was like, I think that's why people seem to really like this segment because because the first movie frames Tremaine and her daughters as just evil
They're
people.
all horrible,
They're
like
just
fully
bad.
horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because I
And so you don't
definitely,
really think about why they are the way they are because the movie doesn't really ask or even give you room to.
right. I I laughed because when she brought her to the castle, I thought to myself, I was like, if you just had their eyes pecked out by birds, you wouldn't have had this problem. Like, that was my first inclination. But I do see the the draw, and I do see how
Everyone loves a redemption story.
yes, yes, and I do see how that third vignette shaped the creation of the third